Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, an arson investigation out of Inez underway. One man faces charges, and we'll go over those next.
Early voting has started today, and we take a closer look at one of the constitutional amendments on the ballot.
And Pete Sessions of Waco placing his bid for House Speaker.
We had some much needed rainfall around the area. About a third of an inch fell over the Victoria County area. Tonight, all the big stuff is up in North Texas. But tomorrow, we've still got a chance of getting more rain and even more on Thursday. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at your weekend forecast.
And we have the highlights from the final game of the American League Series. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. New at 10 tonight, the House Appropriations Committee approved House Bill 6, which if enacted would give funding for the construction of an additional 50 miles of new barriers at the Texas-Mexico border. The Texas Tribune reports the State House Appropriations Committee voted 14-9 in favor of the bill. The money would be on top of at least $1.5 billion in contracts the state has issued since September of 2021 to build about 40 miles of border barrier. Since August of this year, Texas has built 10 miles of border barrier. In Louisiana, at least 7 people are dead and several were hurt after a more than 100-car pileup on the expressway. It happened this morning on Interstate 55, prompting road closures in both directions. More than 25 people were taken to the hospital in conditions ranging from critical to minor. 3 18-wheelers were involved and at least 2 of them ended up engulfed in flames. Authorities say a mix of dense fog and smoke from marsh fires contributed to low visibility. Now, several residents at the Summerstone Apartments in Victoria woke up to the smell of smoke and determined there was a small fire inside one of the apartments. It happened around 7 this morning when a resident noticed smoke filling up their apartment. That led to the evacuation of that apartment and the apartment above it. Rita Yabera is thankful the fire was not any worse.
We saw the smoke coming out of the hall. We got everybody out of the house and then it started flaming up a little bit inside the water heater. So then we got the people from upstairs out. So for their safety, you know what I mean? So we got everybody out of the building so everybody's safe. So that's what mattered.
The cause of the fire was a malfunctioning water heater near the bathroom. The fire was contained and luckily no one was hurt.
Around 4:30 this morning, firefighters were busy with 2 fires in Inez. The first one destroyed a home in the 1300 block of Live Oak Drive. A short time later in the 200 block of Live Oak Drive, firefighters found 2 camper trailers on fire. No one was hurt. Authorities believe the 2 campers and home were set on fire. They had this man in custody on other charges right now. Deputies arrested 32-year-old Cody Dale Dawson around 6:20 a.m. as he was walking along FM 444 near Salem Road. Deputies say Dawson became violent. He's charged with 2 counts of assault of a public servant, resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance. Charges of arson are expected. Dawson is held without bond.
Orton police arrested Richard Cantu Jr. of Rosenberg. Cantu is a suspect after an RV was stolen from a Wharton business in the 600 block of North Richmond Road. The RV was recovered and Cantu is facing felony theft charges and additional charges are pending.
Hallettsville police arrested 22-year-old Lane Jeffrey Wright of Hallettsville. He is accused of evading police in a motor vehicle. Wright was arrested after driving a motorcycle at a high rate of speed, which turned into a brief chase. The chase ended near the intersection of FM 2314 and East 4th Street. Wright is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of $25,000 bond.
DeWitt County Commissioners lifted the burn ban today. Authorities are asking if you choose to burn, please notify the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office and let them know the location of the fire and when you will try to burn. The burn ban was put into effect in DeWitt County July 24th.
And tonight, Lavaca County Commissioners reinstated the burn ban there due to continued dry conditions throughout the county. The burn ban had been lifted in that county 1 week ago. The burn ban was first put into effect in Lavaca County July 10th. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Burn bans are news, and also us getting rain is big news.
Yeah, and with a little luck, in about a week, maybe the burn bans will get, decided, because it's a tough issue to decide. We had the nice rain today, but is it enough is the big question. 76 degrees right about now. We managed to get up to 84 before the rain began. We only got 3,500 officially at the airport, so a third of an inch. That gives us 263 for the month of October. 2821, that puts us 6 inches below our annual rainfall total. So we need some more, and we'll be looking for more in the next few minutes. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mac, thank you. Opening statements began today in the trial of an Austin police officer, Christopher Taylor. He is charged in the murder and the death of Mike Ramos. Taylor shot and killed Ramos during a confrontation with police back in April of 2020. Prosecutors used maps, photos, and screenshots of body-worn camera footage to walk the jury through the events leading up to Ramos's death. The state is working to prove Ramos was not a threat to anyone when he was shot. The jury heard from his neighbor, his sister, an Austin police detective, and a man who called 911 to report Ramos as suspicious prior to his death.
The National Veterinary Services Laboratories has detected highly pathogenic avian influenza, bird flu, in domesticated swans in Nueces County. Disease experts say the virus is circulating among wild birds in the state as fall migration begins for water birds and waterfowl. Because of how easily transmittable the disease is, Texas Park and Wildlife is advising wildlife rehabilitators to remain cautious while taking in wild animals with signs of the virus. Victoria ISD will begin to host Saturday vape education classes in collaboration with Midcoast Families.
That's right. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with VISD about how they plan to help students catch their breath.
House Bill 114 called for a comprehensive vaping education program, so VISD decided to follow suit in their own way. The National Youth Tobacco Survey shows more than 2.5 million middle and high school students used tobacco products in 2022. In a recent 25 News Now viewer poll, we asked, is vaping an issue at your child's school?
Looks like 77% stand at yes and 23% stand at no.
VISD says the district sees vaping in students as young as 5th grade. However, the VISD plans to stop the issue at their schools. Their plan? Create a course to educate students about the effects of vaping.
Teaching this class has allowed us to really think outside the box and think through how can we help kids and at the same time empower parents to have the conversations at home.
The school district strictly prohibits any tobacco or e-cigarettes, including vapes. Now, when students are caught with vapes on campus or school events, the student and their parent are required to come to the course.
Also, having the parent there allows for a little bit of accountability, and it opens the door for discussion between child and parent.
The Catch My Breath course is mandatory for offenders of the vaping rules and their parents or guardians. Absences could impact placement in the disciplinary alternative education program. The courses are every Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon. Reporting in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Adarius, thank you. There's only one candidate from Texas running for the U.S. House Speaker seat. Congressman Pete Sessions, a Republican from Waco, was first elected to the House back in 1996. The Texas Tribune reports 68-year-old Sessions will make his case to the rest of their fellow Republicans in a forum tonight. The Republican conference will vote tomorrow morning on its nominee, who will go before the full House at an unscheduled date. His father, William Sessions, was the FBI director during a siege in 1993.
Early voting in Victoria for the November 7th election started Monday. The numbers from the Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 83 people voted in person early Monday. 28 mail-in votes were received Monday, a total of 264 mail-in votes so far. Texans are voting on 14 constitutional amendments. Early voting runs through next Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and next Thursday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can vote at the Dr. Dr. Patty Dodson, Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. One constitutional amendment on Proposition 3 would ban the imposition of a wealth tax. This proposition would ban the imposition of a tax based on the wealth or net worth of an individual or family. Election Day is Tuesday, November 7th.
Leading us to your viewer poll tonight, you can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, how do you plan to vote for Proposition 3? Are you for it or are you against it? According to our results, it's looking like 29% are for it and 71% are against it. Thank you for voting tonight. TxDOT wants input on a long-range plan that will guide transportation priorities in Texas through the year 2050. TxDOT will host an open house from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Wednesday at the Victoria College Emerging Technology Complex located at 7403 Lone Tree Road, Meeting Hall 101. Residents will have an opportunity to fill out a survey providing input on the plan. The survey asks residents to rate different types of transportation strategies in 6 categories.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. An off-duty pilot tried to shut off a plane's engine mid-flight. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we go over the number of charges he faces.
Also ahead, a unique Give Back program is taking place in Oklahoma to help those who suffered from gun violence. A pilot riding in the cockpit of a Horizon Air passenger jet tried to shut down the engines in mid-flight. The flight was en route from Washington to San Francisco when it was reported a security threat in the flight deck jump seat. 2 pilots were able to subdue the man before the engine power was lost. The plane was immediately diverted to Portland International Airport where it landed safely. 44-year-old Joseph David Emerson was taken into custody. He faces 83 counts of attempted murder, 83 counts of reckless endangerment, and a count of endangering an aircraft. Now, dogs are a great companion, it's no secret, and they positively impact our lives and health in many ways.
But owners should be aware that our furry friends can get us sick.
Your furry best friend can have many positive effects on you and your family's life, like influencing social, emotional, and cognitive development in children and promoting an active lifestyle. Some dogs can even detect oncoming epileptic seizures or the presence of certain cancers. Others can relieve stress or anxiety in people. According to the CDC, nearly 40% of U.S. households own a dog, but many Americans may be unaware that dogs can sometimes carry harmful germs that can make people sick. These germs can cause a variety of illnesses, like minor skin infections or even more serious illnesses. The CDC recommends protecting yourself by thoroughly washing your hands after handling, caring for, feeding, or cleaning up after your dogs. Picking up after your pet is especially important in areas where children play, and it helps prevent diseases from spreading. And don't forget to provide your pup with routine vet care so that you and your family, including your dog, stay happy and healthy. With this Medical Minute, I'm Ike Ajachi.
KCEN reports a U.S. District Judge dismissed former Baylor football coach Art Briles and former athletic director Ian McCaw from a federal Title IX lawsuit, saying there is no reasonable evidence to find them guilty of neglect in a case involving domestic violence assaults by a former Baylor football player on a former student. The judge also dismissed gross neglect claims against the university, but will allow the jury to determine if the university was neglectful.
A gun give-back program in Tulsa, Oklahoma gave people a chance to get rid of their weapons while helping those suffering from the impact of gun violence.
Now, organizers say this type of event is just one effort to keep communities safer and help people heal.
This is deeply personal for me.
Rebecca Fincher is volunteering at Guns to Garden Tools, a safe place to anonymously dispose firearms. She's there not only to support a good cause, but to prevent other families from enduring her pain.
In 2021, my 20-year-old son was killed, actually just a few blocks from here. He was in his apartment on a Saturday afternoon and a bullet came through the wall and he was shot in the head and killed. He spent 4 days in ICU. He never regained consciousness. He left behind his pregnant wife.
It's not just about discarding, but rather repurposing.
This project is all about transformation. It's about transforming something that is created to kill into something that's created to give life.
Blacksmiths transform the unwanted guns into garden tools. The tools then become gifts for survivors and families shattered by gun violence.
People hear the term gun violence and they think of, criminals shooting each other in the streets, murder, homicide. When we talk about gun violence, we're talking about suicide, we're talking about domestic violence, we're even talking about unintentional shootings. So it's a much broader picture, I think, than most people realize.
At last year's event, Fincher says she turned in a gun she inherited but didn't need. City Councilor Krista Patrick says this exchange is not anti-gun but pro-gun safety.
It's a way to heal when someone has suffered trauma due to the hands of a gun. It's a way to give back to them, to give them an active way to process the trauma.
And hopefully some lives will be saved because of this. If only one person doesn't have to go through that, that's worth it for me.
SAG-AFTRA members were back on the picket line today, this time outside Sony Pictures Studios in California. Saturday marked 100 days of the current strike. But there may be a glimmer of hope. The two sides are scheduled to resume talks tomorrow for the first time in almost 2 weeks between SAG-AFTRA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. This is the first industry-wide strike in more than 40 years.
Well, good evening, everyone. Things are fairly quiet out there right now. In fact, we got clear skies. The rain that we had around here earlier this morning is pretty much over with. All the big stuff tonight's happening in North Texas all the way down into West Texas, but there's a shot of us getting more tomorrow and for the next couple of days. So we'll be talking about that coming up in a moment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, good evening, everyone. 76 degrees right about now. Clear skies, you know, all the clouds that we had with the rain this morning, it all pretty much pulled away. We did manage to get up to 84, which is just at about our average temperature. And the overnight low of 70 was not exactly cool. It's not going to be exactly cool for the next couple of days. 3,500 is officially at the airport, 2.63 for October. And that brings our year to 28-21. That's 6 inches below, so we need to catch up a little bit more territory on the rainfall. As you can see, most of the activity around our area is over with. Somewhere just north of Dallas, right about there, they're getting the heaviest activity. I guess that's Mineral Wells, and all that stuff is really the remnants of what used to be that tropical storm on the Pacific side. The rainfall totals today were very beneficial. What I'd like to say, all we need is a ½ inch of rain every day for about a week, and then everything would be great. So in the dark green is about a ½ inch. In the bright green is up to an inch. And if you make it the blue, you've got 2 inches of rain. So hopefully we all got a little bit of rain out there. This is a blessing and a beneficial, and we needed it. And now we'll wait and see if we can get some more. Now, tonight only in the 70s, tomorrow in the mid-80s. We start off with a little bit of sun, but pretty soon the clouds will build up, and you'll probably see another round of afternoon showers around the area. This light green area is generalized rain, but the dark green or the bright green here is a marginal chance of severe weather. That's tomorrow in far west Texas. As far as we're concerned, we're looking at the big stuff kind of staying north of us. We're not really getting the big stuff. All that is moving northeast, and as you can see right about there. But now, when the low bottoms out and starts kicking to the northeast, it's going to create a line of big storms that will pretty much traverse the state right about there. And that would be on your Thursday. So Thursday is really the peak of this storm system or this combination of events. That's when we might see some actual big thunderstorms, maybe some severe ones. That would be on Thursday before that thing pulls out of here. And then we're watching this. This is another system. This is a cold front that'll be here Monday, and it will give us a big chill by the time we get into Halloween. Notice up here, rain, wind, and snow and ice now developing for the Midwest all the way down into the Central Rockies. So it's a definite change in the seasons. Here's the prediction of Future Tracker all the way to Saturday. And in this prediction, it says we'll get another inch, maybe up to 2 inches in the area. So this is, storm system total. So we'll see how it works out. This is going to be important to us, but it may be a damp week if you have work outdoors. It may be a little sloppy. Important to note for the maritime interest that we do have a small craft advisory. The winds are peaking up to 25 knots in the afternoon, so that's making the bays a little choppy, and your sunrise at 7:35. So for those of you in Port Lavaca looking for generally partly cloudy skies, high of about 85. Afternoon showers popping around the Cuero area up to 84. And we're going to say just garden variety showers peaking on Thursday, the best chance. Then this Friday, 40% is early in the morning and then clearing up. A little bit better for the weekend. However, there's our front, and the high temperature on Monday after the front, only 71. So that tells me that Halloween's going to be probably in the 60s on the cool side. So dress accordingly, as we like to say. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code, and we want everybody to scan that and put Crossroads a day on your phone. I guess sports fans are really tired. It's been so busy for the last couple days, right, Jim?
Yep, it's been busy, and it's only getting busier. And there are only 3 Crossroads teams ranked in the top 10. We see which after the break. Paddock Crossroads, Game 7, Astros, Rangers. Let's check out the highlights. In the top of the first inning, Corey Seager, goodbye baseball. His third home run of the postseason, taking the 1-0 lead, and this is the biggest home run of his career. Still in the top of the first, a shallow blooper to left center field. Can he get there? No, he can't. It bounces away and brings home 2 more runs for a 3-0 lead in the top of the first inning. But Max Scherzer to Abreu. This one is lined down the third base line. It's fair to make it a 3-1 lead for the Rangers. Very eventful first inning. And Adolis Garcia, take a look from the umpire's perspective. This one is gone. Look at that strut like a peacock. That is out of here. Now Bregman, he goes tick for tat, and he goes over near the Crawford boxes, and to make it an even closer game. Eventually, the Rangers would pull ahead, though, and take a 10-2 lead, and the final score would be 11-4. The Rangers are heading to the World Series for the first time in 12 years, and Garcia wins the MVP of the ALCS for having a record 15 RBIs and 5 home runs. Well, Rangers are going to the World Series. Well, it's week 10 of the Texas high school football season, and there are only 3 Crossroad ranked teams. The Refugio Bobcats defeated its rivals, the Shiner Comanches, 26-7. And with that win, Refugio is now in the driver's seat for yet another district title. Refugio is still number 2 in the state, behind the Timpson Bears. Refugio will play Kennedy Friday before facing off against Ganado, which will likely be for the district title. The Bobcats are 7-1 on the season and have not lost since week 1. The Tidehaven Tigers are like the Great Wall of China, only allowing 7 points all season. The Tidehaven defense are known as the Children of the Corn, and they have given the offense of the Tigers multiple opportunities to score and preventing the other team from scoring, which is the name of the game. Tidehaven will play Bowling Friday, which is the second-place team in the district. The Cuero Gobblers are 8-0 and on the verge of winning another district title as well. Cuero beat Caldwell 62-7 during its homecoming. Now the Gobblers are going to face off against the Smithville Tigers for its final home game of the season. Cuero is number 4 in the state, behind Texarkana Pleasant Grove at number 3, Silsbee at number 2, and Carthage Bulldogs as the top-ranked team. The Edna Cowboys drop out of the top 10 after its upset loss to the Goliad Tigers. The Cowboys have lost 2 games this season, the other coming against Refugio. Edna will now face the Mathis Pirates this Friday. Goliad beat Edna 21-6. The Texas Longhorns are going to be without its starting quarterback after he went down with an injury to his throwing shoulder. Quinn Ewers took a big hit after scrambling away from pressure, and he was out for the rest of the game. As of now, the leader of the team will be week to week after suffering a grade 2 AC joint sprain on his right shoulder. Malik Murphy took to the helm and led his team to a game-winning touchdown drive. Now things are heating up on who will take the starting job against BYU, either Malik Murphy or top recruit Arch Manning. BYU and the Horns will play Saturday at 2:30 at DKR Stadium. That's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
And just a reminder, Game 1 of the World Series from Arlington is Friday night. The pregame show starts at 6 and the game starts at 7. So best of luck to that Texas team. How about that? There you go.
All righty, stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, in Mexico City, hundreds gathered for the Day of the Dead celebration.
A summer blockbuster movie is credited for high interest in one of America's most remote national parks. Cars lined up early this weekend to get into the Trinity site at White Sands National Park in New Mexico. The site of the first atomic bomb detonation is only open to the public twice a year. The summer release of the movie Oppenheimer made the open house a hot ticket. The tour included the McDonald House, where the plutonium core was put in the world's first atomic bomb.
And it is so incredible being here. Being in this little crater, just knowing that this is the site where human history changed forever.
About 3,000 people visited this weekend. The next opportunity will be in April 2024. The animals of the London Zoo are getting into the Halloween spirit. Okapis went through foraging through pumpkins for some treats. Zookeepers stuffed the gourds with their favorite snacks. Polly, Dolly, and Priscilla, 3 Galapagos tortoises, also joined in on the ghoulish fun, and tiger teens Zach and Crispin smelled their way to a cinnamon and nutmeg scented pile of pumpkins. Oh, they're taking a big, he was trying to take a big bite out of that.
Somebody should have cut it up for him, don't you think?
Yeah, poor guy. He needed a little push.
Oh, he's got to stick his neck out for that, you know.
But by the time we have a real Halloween next Tuesday, we're going to have frighteningly cold temperatures now.
I wouldn't go frighteningly, but it will be ghoulish. It'll be chillier, yes. Yeah, we're going to stay in the 80s all week, and we do have an additional chance for rain for the next 3 days. Thursday should be the peak, and then it decreases on Friday night. Weekend looks fairly good, but it's Monday when a strong cold front blows in. I'm looking for highs on Halloween to be in the upper 60s or mid 60s with nighttime temperatures getting chilly. How about that?
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. Now, hundreds took to the streets in Mexico City Sunday for the Day of the Dead parade. Many of them painted their faces and got dressed up as the iconic Mexican skeleton. The parade is one of the city's many events for the Day of the Dead, a pre-Hispanic tradition in which families remember their dead and celebrate life. The Catrina was created by Jose Guadalupe Posada, a Mexican cartoonist, illustrator, and artist whose work influenced many Latin American artists and cartoonists around Latin America.
Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
Also
That's right. All righty. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.